Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. This video is part 5 for my F1 2020 MyTeam Career mode. Here we are for the Dutch Grand Prix here today, and hopefully it can be much better than China, as we did get a pretty decent result there, and we used the car to its absolute limit. But now, Zandvoort, I'm feeling much more confident with the car. We do have an aero upgrade coming for this race. It is for the rear wing, and we just hopefully can use that to our advantage. Feeling much happier with the car now after first 5 rounds, and especially from Australia where that car was very understeery, very snappy, and it was almost impossible to push. Now I'm feeling much happier with the car. It's got a very nice balance and suits my driving style very much. But now as we're going through now, we actually have a press interview with Will Buxton himself, so we'll go through and answer these questions, which will have, if anything like were at the beginning of the career mode, they'll have a pretty big impact on the team.
Thanks so much for the invitation to your HQ. Let's have a little chat about the team's performance this season. Will your team be going for the Constructors' Championship this season, or just for points?
Well, we definitely won't be going for the Constructors' Championship this season. We will be hoping to get some decent points on the board and try to outscore our closest rivals, which are Haas and Williams. So no, we won't be going for the Championship, but points will be just great.
Your second driver seems to be getting much more comfortable with their car. Have you been focusing on their development?
Delichat's been putting plenty of hours in on the simulator, been putting loads of time in to improve himself and improve his comfortability with the car. So it's been no surprise that he's been putting in the performances.
Let's talk about your new second driver. How are they settling in?
Louis is absolutely loving the car. He's been helping development. It's been very important to its development. He's been helping and just helping everybody get to terms with the car and where we are in the field.
You've been struggling to get points this season. What are the key areas of improvement you need to make to the team?
We've been struggling with our power unit quite a bit. It's very underpowered compared to the Ferrari and Mercedes power unit, so we've just been left a sitting duck on the straights.
What are your predictions for your team going into this season?
Well, as I said earlier, we're just hoping to get some points on the board. Being a new team in Formula 1 is never an easy job, but hopefully we can get some points on the board and beat Williams and Haas.
It's been wonderful to spend some time with you. Best of luck out on track.
It was wonderful to spend time with you too, Will Buxton. But now, as we advance the time, it's time for the Dutch Grand Prix. As I said, hopefully we can get some better points on the board. Highly unlikely, but never say never in Formula 1, as anything can happen. So advance the time, we get our aero upgrade onto the car, and just overall, it's time for the Dutch Grand Prix. Hopefully it's a really good one. I hope the track's very nice to drive, so hopefully we can just get to terms with it and just get on top of the car once again. This is gonna need to be cut. So here we are now for qualifying in the Dutch Grand Prix in the Netherlands at round Zandvoort. Hopefully we can get some qualified nicely. There is rain due for the session, much like China, so it's going to be starting off dry, but the rain's going to be coming much later in the session, so hopefully we can just try to take advantage of that. So now we're out on track. Hopefully we can get the time together as we go down this very long and just banked corner. So, and now onto the main straight now. As you can see, we have got massive gearbox there, bouncing off of the Chinese Grand Prix. It's heavily worn. Trying to get through the session, trying to get through qualifying with this gearbox, just so it saves us later on. But now, as we're going through the end of Sector 2, we get a message from our engineer.
Okay, we're seeing some kind of problem with the gearbox. We see it's stuck in gear. We're looking into it.
Which means we are stuck in 4th gear, and that will be the end of our lap. And with that comes the end of our qualifying session. I tried going out again a bit later, but the gearbox wasn't having it. It was still stuck in gear. So that means we're having to get a gearbox replacement. Not ideal. I was really hoping for this race to be something special. It's a very twisty track, very few straights, so it should suit our car very nicely. But now, it's just very unfortunate. I tried getting through the qualifying session, I took a bit of a gamble. It did not pay off. So, I'm taking that 5 place grid penalty anyway with the gearbox. it wasn't worth it in the end. We could have qualified much higher and overall capitalised on the performance of the car. So as we go down the field now, Valtteri Bottas is on pole for the Dutch Grand Prix, but Louis Delatraz is in P20 for the race. And he set a 1 minute 10.7, so that's a very solid time, and is ahead of Nicholas Latifi. I would have been liking to beat him, but now as we go through to the race, it's time for the Dutch Grand Prix. Let's go.
It was 35 years ago that the late great Niki Lauda took his 25th and final Grand Prix win here at Zandvoort. He came from 10th on the grid to beat his McLaren teammate Alain Prost by just 0.2 of a second. Well, Zandvoort is a very different circuit today, of course, but still one with an incredible legacy. And we're going to add to that. Welcome along to the 2020 Dutch Grand Prix. 4 lefts and 10 rights make up the 14 corners of the narrow and demanding Zandvoort circuit, with plenty of peaks and valleys over the course of a 2.6-mile lap, which will demand absolute concentration from our drivers here today. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, the surface looks clean enough, but I'm a little bit worried about the track temperature. It's pretty cool out there, which could give some teams difficulties when it comes to keeping their tyres in the right operating window. The cars out there that work their tyres hard and really put a lot of energy through them, they'll be the ones that are better off.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Vettel, Leclerc, Max Verstappen and Albon, Ricciardo, Perez, Ocon and Lando Norris, Stroll, Sainz, Daniel Kvyat and Magnussen, Raikkonen, Grosjean, George Russell and Pierre Gasly, Giovinazzi, Delatraz, Latifi and the Professor. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
So as we're here now on the grid for the Dutch Grand Prix, it will be a very simple strategy. It will be softs to hards, pitting on lap 12. So hopefully now we get started on soft tyres, we can capitalise on that and push hard throughout the lap. It will be a dry all through the race, so there's going to be no variable strategies, so hopefully we can just capitalise on and beat those around us on the start of the race. We've been getting race starts pretty nicely recently. As you can see here, we're toying around with this strategy, seeing what we could have done, but we decided to play it safe with the softs and hards. We tried going aggressive on the strategy in Bahrain, I think it was, but it didn't work out. So as we're here on the grid, we're for the Dutch Grand Prix, it's 5 red lights. And away we go for the Dutch Grand Prix. We get a very good start, as usual, going down the inside of Nicholas Latifi and running alongside him now. He starts to pull ahead with that Mercedes power unit, but going into the tunnel, we have a massive lunge down into P19. So we try to have a look down the inside of George Russell, but we don't quite get the move stuck. And then Giovinazzi going round our outside once again and we lose that position. We're up into P20 in this race. As going into this carousel corner, we get many more positions as we have a very nice look around the outside, and we're now attacking Romain Grosjean for P17 in this race. So we have George Russell right behind us as we have finally got past him, and are going into this very technical middle sector, which it's not going to suit our car compared to those around us. We are lacking downforce and chassis grip, so a mechanical grip, so we are missing that. But as you can see here, we're managing to stick with everybody else. So now going through down to this mini straight, it does have DRS, but it's not going to be activated to lap 3. So now we're right behind Romain Grosjean. We stick it into overtake now. We're trying to have a bit of a run. We're not quite close enough to make a move, but we have a look anyway. But we're not quite close enough to make the move. So now going through to the end of lap 1, we are in P18 in this race, which is an absolutely cracking start. Couldn't have been much better. So now going through this very long, very technical, very risky final sector, and now overtake on rich mix down. We're trying to overpower that Ferrari power unit, which has been established to be very powerful in this career mode. But now we're going around the outside of Romain Grosjean and have a lunge right round the outside. We squeeze into the apex and we get on the power very early, short shifting up to third, and that is a brilliant move up into P17 in this race, and right behind Carlos Sainz, who is starting on the hard compound of tyres. And we have a look round the outside, but we don't quite make it work as he just gets the better drive out of the corner. But we're now going alongside him through this very technical, very twisty run down to this right-hander, and we don't quite get the move stuck. So we've got to try the move again later on in the race. So right behind Carlos Sainz now, who's on the hard tyres, as I said. So he's trying the alternate strategy. So we could have a look at him going down this, going into turn 1. So now going into turn 1 now, lap 4, Carlos Sainz makes a mistake. So now we go to the right hand side of him. We didn't know how much speed he was going to have, so we wanted to have the preferable line into this right hander. We have the move run. We keep the line tight so he doesn't have a look back at us again, but now we've got the move done. We're going up now to 4th gear, 5th gear, going up the gears now, and we are into P16 in this Dutch Grand Prix. Brilliant stuff. So now as we got on to lap 7 in this race, we're taking the nice tight line into this carousel, onto this like very twisty straight. So we have Carlos Sainz right behind us, Romain Grosjean right behind him. But Carlos Sainz now has a run on us. So now going into this thing, he sends it around the outside and gets the move done. But now we're going side by side now, and he gets the move. He gets on the power much earlier than us, and he just got in that better chassis, in that McLaren, is able to get the move done around the outside, which is absolutely brilliant move. Can't complain about that. And he's now up into P16 in this race. We are down to P17, so it's not the best of situations. But now Romain Grosjean's right behind us down this straight. Luckily we have DRS, otherwise we would have been a sitting duck. But now we're going down this straight. It's been an absolutely hectic race so far, but Grosjean sent it down the inside, and now we're getting the run down the straight. We don't have the DRS, so we've got to try to defend it as best we can with our Renault power unit. Rich Mix is on, Overtake is on, he sends it around the outside, has a look, and we look at our right front tyre, and now Grosjean gets round the outside into this left-hander, and now we've got to have another look at him going through the straight. But we going down the straight now, DRS is open, Overtake's open, we're running out of ERS, but we are in Rich Mix. We are closing, but very slightly, and Grosjean's got that move done, and we are up down into P18 in this race. Delatraz, I believe, is in P21, so he's quite a foot way down the grid. So now on lap 9, as I said, we will be pitting on lap 12 in this race, so it's not very long now till we pit onto the hard compound tyres, where Grosjean is now right behind, in front of us. So hopefully we can try to stick with him, try to get DRS down the straights. But now Russell is behind us. He's headed it down the inside into this left-hander. Once again, as we run a little bit wide, he's running alongside us down this straight. We've got Overtake on, we've got Rich Mix down, and he's got his Mercedes power unit. He's trying to try it around the outside into this very tight corner. He gets it working initially, but we just have to drive out of the corner, and we're just able to keep the position ahead of him, as Giovinazzi is the next car behind him. So he's trying to run the outside, but we just squeeze him off the track. We'll squeeze him into the apex, and we just get the move done, and into lap 11 on this race. And now go down the straight. We're going to have the new graphic popping up for this game. As you can see, we do have overheating on the front left, but our pit window is now open, and we will be taking full advantage of that in this race. So we will be pitting on this lap. So now going into the pit lane right now, we are trying to go brake as late as we can, but we are a bit tentative. We're not quite sure with this pit lane. We're not familiar under race conditions. So now we just got to try to make the move. We just got to try to hope the pit crew don't do their job and get as fast a pit stop as possible. And they are absolutely flying. It's a 1.9 second pit stop, and that brings us well ahead of George Russell, who was right behind us before the pit stop. And now we have a 1.5 second gap coming out the pits, as we do run a little bit wide. We do cross the white line, but we do only get a warning for that, luckily. But now George Russell is behind us with a 2 second gap, so that our pit crew is doing absolute bits there, pulling out when it matters, and we are now ahead of George Russell comfortably. So now going through the final corner, Louis Delatraz is in the pit lane, and this is going to be close. We have no idea if the overcut or undercut is strong around here, so we've just had to push while we came out the pits. And on these fresh hards, we just got to make the move work, as Delatraz is on the pit exit right now. As you can see, his name tag on the right. We're trying to get the drive out the corner. We get a bit of a slide going on, but we do get ahead of Delatraz, who is now right behind us in this race, who will just be following us around for quite a while in this race, I'm not going to lie. But being in such a similar car, he's not able to get close enough. But now we are into P19 in this race, which is absolutely brilliant stuff. So now as here we are on P19 on this race. We're not had the best lap, but Delatraz has had an absolute flyer. So now he's right behind us going down this straight. We're trying to save ERS at this point in the race. So we have Overtake off, but he's going down the inside. We have to defend it around the outside, and that's absolutely brilliant stuff. We defend it brilliantly, and we short shift that up to third to get the drive out the corner so he doesn't have a second attack, and that is brilliantly defended against Delatraz. Obviously, we're leaving him enough room. We're not going to squeeze him like any of the other cars in this race, because he's our teammate. We don't want to cause him any damage, as that will lose us money, which will be crucial. So here we are on lap 23 in this race. We're going through the second sector. On the right here, you can see Daniel Ricciardo, my mistake, is out of the race due to reliability issues. That Renault is not proving to be very reliable in this career mode, so they're just not having the best of luck this season, with Ocon DNFing in the last race and Ricciardo DNFing this race, as Russell does have a bit of a look down the inside, but he doesn't quite make it work, and down the straight he doesn't have a look in. But now, as we move on to lap 24, we are actually being lapped by the Mercedes cars. Yeah, it's just, they have so much pace around here. They have the engine advantage, they've got the tyre advantage, so we nearly run into the back of Lewis Hamilton. So now Valtteri Bottas is right behind us as well. So go into this carousel section, we just go to the edge of the track. That means we're going to get a very nice run out the corner as well, and we're going to get slipstream, which is going to help us against Delatraz, who is on the offensive at this point. So we're going to be getting the slipstream down this twisty technical section, and that's absolutely brilliant stuff. We're going, and now we have Charles Leclerc right behind us. And as we're in this mini straight, he does have a bit of a look. We do accidentally squeeze him. I didn't realise he was going for the move there, but now we just short shift up the gears, lose our straight line speed, and just let the Ferrari go through. We're not battling. He isn't part of our race. There's no point battling him, as we'll just end up getting a penalty for ignoring blue flags. So we just follow him through. Hopefully, and I think we get the RS down that straight, but that doesn't really matter, as Vettel is the next car behind us. So coming out of this corner here, we take it to the left, short shift up to 8th, and just coast. We let the Ferrari through, and we short shift down, we go down to 6th again now to get the drive, and we just follow the Ferrari in the slipstream. Hopefully we can keep close enough to get the RS down that mini straight, and just hopefully, and just get that time over Delatraz, which he wouldn't have, which he is getting over us every lap. So as you can see here, lap 31, we're actually on a bit of a push lap, even though we don't improve to the first sector. We are trying to set a personal best in this lap race, but if you look on the mini-map, there's a Red Bull of Alexander Albon, and he has retired out of this race, and that's brought out a safety car. So now, this opportunity, it's going to be a bunched up field. We are going to pit onto the soft compound of tyres. Doesn't really matter, we're going to drop to last, but hopefully we can have it's going to be a very exciting end to the race. We're going to have a bit of a sprint, and just, we've got to do our best. We've got to take every opportunity as it comes to gain any positions. We started in P18 in this, P19, P19 before the pit stop. So now we've lost 3 positions, and we've just got to do our best, as Verstappen is actually right ahead of us, so we're going to follow him through on the safety car restarts. So now, lap 32 now, at the end of that lap, on the start of lap 33, we catch the safety car line, and we just got to keep with it, and at the end of this lap, the safety car will be coming in. So, we've saved our fuel, we've saved our ERS, and now it's time to attack. So, going down this straight, now going through this right-hander, we can see we're getting very eager on the throttle. We're having to slow down as they haven't sprinted yet. But now, as we go on the straight, we are go on the safety car restart. We actually have a look at attacking Verstappen, but we use him and the Williams on the blue flags to get through. We send it down the inside of Max Verstappen in this race, and now is our teammate Louis Delatraz ahead of us as he's letting Verstappen through. And we are the car ahead. We're taking full advantage of this. We send it around the outside, no contact. Absolutely brilliant stuff. We are now up into P17. We've already gained positions in this race. So now the next car is Kevin Magnussen. We've got our DRS, we've got our overtake button on, we've got our rich mix, but we're not quite close enough to make a move into this right-hander. On lap 34, we are a lap down, so we have only 2 laps left in this race, or 1.5 laps, as Magnussen is letting Verstappen through on the blue flags, but we send it round the outside. We're taking full advantage of this, and it's just, we're taking every opportunity as it comes. We're doing our best, and we are up into P16 in this race, as Grosjean and Giovinazzi are the next 2 cars, as Russell is now P17 in this race. So now going through to lap 35, we are alongside Romain Grosjean. We send it down the inside into this right-hander, and we get the move done. Well, fresh tyres, we just have the grip and the traction out of the corner, and we do finally let Max Verstappen through. And now Grosjean did have a bit of a look, but we decide against it. Well, don't let him have a look, and we just get on the power and just let the car through. So now, lap 35, we're letting all these lap cars through, otherwise we'll get a penalty in this race. And that is the last thing we want, as Kimi Raikkonen is the next car and the final car we have to let through. And we get on the power, overtake on, and the Haas of Romain Grosjean is right behind us, but it's not enough. He doesn't have this straight line speed. We come through for an absolutely fantastic P15 in the Dutch Grand Prix. Excellent stuff.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
So, another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today and the results speak for themselves.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again. So let's review the updated driver standings. That lead at the top of the table has shrunk somewhat today. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to the Professor. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, good work from the owner-drivers team this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula One action soon.
So now as we look at the results of this Grand Prix, we come through for a fantastic P15 in this race, and Louis Delatraz is a P19. As Delatraz is probably where the car is, but we took full advantage of that safety car restart, and we just overtook cars left, right and centre and come through for a P15 from last on the grid. That new gearbox was playing dividends for us, but as we set a much faster lap time, 4 tenths quicker than Louis Delatraz's best time in that race, and we finished ahead of both the Haas cars and both the Williams cars, who are our main rivals in this race. So yeah, I'm ecstatic with that result, and that'll be a nice sum of money and resource points. So now going into the rivalry, we extend our gap by 2 points, and that gives us 14 points over 10. So we are 4 points ahead of Nicholas Latifi. So our acclaim is now level 3 and Delatraz is now level 5. But our team acclaim, most importantly, is up to level 5. So that does mean we can have another sponsor on the car, which is absolutely brilliant stuff, and it means we can have that more money coming in every race. So now we're getting our sponsor bonus for that race and money. Oh man, I'm not sure where that damage came from. I didn't get any damage throughout the entire weekend, but we are now up to 2.3 million. So we are very close to getting a simultaneous upgrade for one of our departments. I'm probably going to go for engine power, as that is where we need to improve. But so now as we allocate some activities before the next race, there's very little gap between, but we do end up going for the sponsor event, as that only costs 5,000 and it improves our team acclaim by 100. So it's absolutely, it's by far the best choice, as we've already upset all of the other departments enough. So now as we select our second bonus, secondary sponsor, so we're having a look through all of these sponsors. All of them have very tough expectations of us, but we do decide that we want to go with Avanza, I think that's how you pronounce it, as that does give us a very nice weekly income of about 97,000, and our goal bonus is 139,000, which is higher than the Gutenberg one. So it's only complete 50 laps during the race weekend, which I do anyway. So we signed with Avanza, and that is a brilliant sponsor, and that is more money in every week, which we get 500,000 in a week, which is very nice monies. So as we assign some new sponsors to the car, we stick it onto the halo. Obviously our first sponsor is still our main sponsor, so they're on the front wing and rear wings of the car, and we stick the Avanza on the halo and side of the car, which I think is perfect. And this is our new car. It's not looking so bland anymore, as he's got sponsors plastered all over it, which is, oh man, I love this car. I'm starting to really have a attachment to this car. But now as we move into R&D upgrades, we're going to get an engine power upgrade onto the car, as I said earlier, we are low on engine power. We do want to have another durability upgrade, but obviously we can't have multiple going at once, so we do decide to put our R&D points into another chassis upgrade. That will only help us when it comes to tracks like Monaco and Canada, so there's no arguments here. So we've got an upgrade for pretty much every department coming in at some point in the near future. So that has been an absolutely cracking race. I'm nearly out of breath, And it's a longer episode than what it normally is, but it's not long now to the Spanish Grand Prix. That will be coming out on Monday, as I'm going to be taking a bit of a break from my team on the channel, and I think there's going to be a last question mark challenge going up on the channel tomorrow. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that video, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. So don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for videos every Tuesday and Friday, and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a video. And overall, like the video, as it really helps me out, and thank you for watching, and goodbye. Can't wait for the next one.